Insults, contempt, and mockery in an abusive relationship is part of the pattern. When they show up, they're sharp, they sting, and if you call them out, you're framed as a problem. God, can't you take a joke? This is why we don't work as a couple. This is why I can't talk to you. So you start permitting the jabs. You let the comments slide. You laugh along, even when it hurts. Not because you think it's funny, but because calling it out makes you the problem. So it feels safer to play along. It happens slowly. Each time you give a little bit more ground, and before you fully register it, the jabs have become the norm. You're being openly insulted, mocked, and treated with contempt, and it's somehow become routine. When it happens in front of others, you laugh along because you know what's waiting if you don't, or you stay silent. So from the outside, it just looks like you're dynamic. Like this is how you two joke. But no one really sees that it only flows one way. Humor becomes the vehicle, sarcasm becomes the cover. Your abuser uses both to deliver the harm and to excuse it afterwards. And your dignity is chipped away one insulting comment at a time. In today's episode, we're breaking down insults, mockery, and contempt when they're used to dominate in a relationship, how they train you to self edit, how they erode your sense of self, and how they turn your personality into a target. This is Stand Again, a lived experience platform for men healing from family violence. If you've lived through this and never had the words, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your voice might help another man find his. I'm also trying a new background approach as the images were taking very long to produce. So please let me know in the comments if you like this or if you want me to revert back to the images. Let's get into it. Insults, contempt, and mockery are tactics of emotional abuse. They're designed to dominate. They're deployed on purpose with full awareness of their effect to humiliate, to destabilize, or to reduce you. The abuser strikes through tone, timing, and repetition. She mocks your voice, imitates your cadence, laughs when you speak with conviction. She calls you ridiculous, pathetic, uptight, and does it with a smirk so she can deny the impact. These are loaded shots aimed to hurt. The goal is manipulation and control. It's done to provoke you, to bait you into a reaction, or to humiliate you in front of others, or to push you back down when you're feeling too confident, or to trigger shame so you fawn, apologize, or retreat. In the end, each comment sends a signal. You are beneath her and you're expected to act like it. Insults will hit you in plain language. You're told you're an idiot, that you're a failure, that you're disgusting. There's no confusion, no ambiguity. The words are sharp, targeted, and chosen to break something inside you. Your confidence, your sense of masculinity, your worth as a father or a partner. Contempt laces every interaction. It shows up in scoffing or eye rolls or exaggerated sighs and derisive laughter. When you speak, she sighs. When you're vulnerable, she grimaces. When you try to explain yourself, she performs revulsion, not to communicate discomfort, but to shame you into silence. This is degradation. And when it happens often enough, you begin to play along. You laugh with her, you agree with her, you preempt the punchline by turning yourself into it. Not because it's funny, but because it feels safer than being blindsided again. In the TTI model, the psychological chain reaction of abuse, you can see the link above, it starts with a tactic like this. Insults and mockery act as the spark. The spark hits a trigger already installed in us by culture. As boys, we are taught not to tolerate disrespect. We were raised on ideas of standing up, proving ourselves, never being made to look weak. So when someone mocks you or sneers, your nervous system lights up. You feel the sting, the heat, the pressure to respond. And that's exactly what the abuser wants. They want the reaction. They want the destabilization. They want to control how you feel and how you behave. And this tactic gives them that leverage. If this pattern continues, if you keep absorbing the insults without challenge, either out of fear or to keep the peace, it rewires you. You flinch at her tone, you edit your senses as you speak. You apologize for parts of yourself that once felt normal. You begin to vanish inside yourself, not because you've changed, but because the cost of being real becomes too high. Let's take a look at three of the most frequent ways insults, contempt, and mockery shows up in abusive relationships. The first is it's just a joke. It's just a joke justification in abusive relationships is a tactic designed to hide cruelty behind humor. Insults are delivered with a smirk, mockery is passed off as teasing, and every degrading comment is wrapped in the same four-word defense. It's just a joke. You might be called an idiot mid conversation or mocked in front of others for how you speak, how you dress, how you parent. The words themselves don't sound like jokes, but they're played off as if they were. Relax, she says. You're being dramatic. Don't be so sensitive. We all tease each other. That's how couples are. You find yourself becoming the punchline over and over again. The things you care about, the way you speak, even your trauma, turned into material, laughed at, dismissed publicly or privately. The message is clear. Your discomfort is entertainment. And when you flinch, fall silent, or push back, the blame falls on you. You're told you can't take a joke, that this is why we don't work as a couple, that no one else would react like this. It's a double bind. If you laugh along, you betray yourself. If you object, you're framed as a problem. Either way, your dignity takes the hit and she gets to walk away clean. These are calibrated comments. The abuser uses humor as a shield, not to build connection but to maintain deniability. And because the tone is light, outsiders rarely see it for what it is. Over time, it distorts your ability to gauge harm. You start second guessing yourself, wondering if you're imagining the sting, questioning if maybe you really are too sensitive. And as your doubt grows, the cruelty escalates, wrapped up in laughter. The purpose is clear: to chip away at your self trust, to train you to accept degradation, and to ensure that every time you try to stand up for yourself, the room turns against you. The second is direct insults. Direct insults in abusive relationships drop the mask. This is no longer about playfulness or even ambiguity, just sharp, targeted words delivered when she wants to punish, destabilize, or reassert control. It's important to recognize that these insults are not grounded in truth. They're not real criticisms or observations. They are tailored, weaponized strings of words. Phrases that your abuser has learned will hurt you personally the most. They're not said in anger, they're said to cause maximum injury. You're called an effing idiot, a lazy failure, a disgusting father, a useless father. You're told your friends pity you, that your children will grow up ashamed of you, that you'll die alone, that nobody will ever want you. Or they target you with specific insults they know upset you the most. Each insult lands like a precision strike, designed to cut through you like a knife, hit the triggers in you, and cause your confidence or self worth to collapse. And they often come in a sequence, one after the other. No breath, no pause, just a verbal barrage designed to reduce you. In the TTI model, we call that the switched attack pattern. And it lands. At first, it knocks the wind out of you. Over time, it changes your internal voice. You start hearing her words in your own head. You forget to buy milk and you think you're useless. You zone out for a second and you think you're so stupid, but not in her voice, in your own. That's the effect. The insult isn't just for that moment, it becomes a soundtrack, a slow takeover of your own self talk. And eventually, her words become the ones you use to narrate your own worth. The third is active contempt and disgust. Active contempt in abusive relationships oozes through the pores. It's there in the curled lip she shows you when you speak, the exaggerated sigh she makes when you walk into the room, the way she grimaces when you express affection. It's open disdain. And when contempt is active, it tells you exactly where you sit in her world, beneath her. You offer a solution, she rolls her eyes. You mispronounce a word, she sneers. You try to show love, and she recalls like your touch is offensive. You share a memory, and she scoffs, muttering, "Of course you'd remember it that way." This is her true feelings leaking through. Contempt is what spills out when she forgets to manage the mask. It's the real view she holds of you, unfiltered. And if it shows up repeatedly, it's not a one off, it's the atmosphere. For many men, this is the most corrosive tactic. We're raised to equate worth with dignity, usefulness, honor. And when contempt takes root, it doesn't just challenge that, it buries it. Ultimately, it leaves us feeling internal shame. We're taught to earn respect by being loyal, useful, capable. But contempt shatters that. It makes you feel not just flawed, but repulsive. So, this kind of shame doesn't flare, it sinks. It settles into your bones and makes you smaller. It trains you to speak less, smile less, try less. Because every time you bring your full self forward, contempt is waiting. Insults, contempt, and mockery are tools that are used deliberately, repeated often, and designed to reshape how you see yourself. They humiliate you, then deny it. They provoke, then blame you for it. They cut you, then laugh. And they keep cutting until you're quiet, until you're small, until you've stopped showing up as yourself. If you've lived through this, you already know the effect. You second guess your tone, you flinch at sarcasm, you hold your breath when you hear someone laugh, in case it's at your expense. But none of this is yours to carry. Being insulted does not make you weak. Being mocked does not make you broken. And being degraded does not mean you deserve it. You deserve respect. You deserve a relationship that is not riddled with insults, contempt, and mockery. And above all, you deserve a relationship where you tell your partner that is not okay and they respect that and modify their behavior. If this resonated, please share it with someone who needs it. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and visit standagain.com.au for grounded lived experience resources for male victims of family violence. You are not broken. You deserve respect. And you are not beyond repair. And no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you can stand again.